Good morning guys, from MSC World Europa for the final time, which is my most hated part of a trip. However, it's fine, because it would be a bit weird if this wasn't my least favourite part. So yeah, I've been on the ship now for 21 nights, so I've never done more than 7 nights on a cruise before. This is definitely a very weird feeling, and in today's video I'm going to talk you through the process of leaving MSC World Europa. Now you'll probably find this video useful if you're planning a cruise on here or another MSC ship, or actually any other cruise ship, because getting off of a cruise is a little bit different to checking out of a hotel on land for a number of reasons. Now, first of all, if you are new to my channel, then hello, I'm Fraser. I am spending the rest of this year living primarily on cruise ships as a passenger, so I will be doing plenty of embarking and plenty of disembarking of various ships throughout the year. So if you haven't found my channel before and you fancy joining me along in the journey, then hit subscribe, which you should be able to do under the video, and it would be brilliant to have you along on the journey. So, disembarking World Europa. Now, first of all, how do I feel? Everyone is asking me how I feel about today. To be honest, the way I feel right now isn't anything to do with disembarking. It's currently the morning after the night before for me, where I usually will go out and have like one beer, and that's it. But we went for drinks last night, and I think my final drink got ordered about 1 AM. Now, to give you a reference on time, I then came back and packed my suitcase, which we'll get to in a second. So my suitcase went out this morning at about 3:30 AM. I then got to bed about 4:30. It's now 7 AM. So, yeah, the morning after the night before. That aside, so I can't wait to get to my apartment in Marseille to have a nap. That aside, I'm really looking forward to getting off actually. I think I've been on for a length of time now where I've been able to see the ship, I've been able to appreciate like how different this is to other ships, what I like, what I don't like, and I've seen multiple different types of cruise on here. So I've seen the Middle East where it was hot and very like cultural everywhere you went. I've then seen the Suez Canal, which is like, what would you call that? Like a scenic cruise maybe? And then finally I've got to see a med cruise, which unfortunately has been a little bit on the cold side. So yeah, I've been able to see how this ship handles all weather, so I'm actually really looking forward to getting off to start putting together vlogs, to start putting together a ship review, because I think from what I've seen, it should be quite useful for you guys to understand how this ship works in all the different climates. So I'm really looking forward to that. I am a little bit, like, weirdly nervous. I don't know why. I think it's because I only know how I feel after 7 nights, usually. And I kind of don't feel ready to get off here, which is very strange, but I think it's because I'm ship hopping and I'm not actually going home that I've got this weird nervousness, because while I know where I'm going, I know the exact apartment building I'm going to in Marseille, but I don't know anyone here. I don't know what the next ship's like, and actually the next ship isn't even leaving from Marseille, it's leaving from Barcelona, which we'll talk about later. So I think, yeah, I'm a little bit nervous just generally about getting off actually. It's a feeling I've never ever had before. So yeah, hopefully in a couple of days time I will be on cloud 9 again, ready to go on ship number 2. But yeah, at the moment, a little bit nervous. Now, to talk you through what happens when you disembark a ship. So we got this letter through last night, which essentially on the front, you've got, what, 4 steps on there. So you can pause the video if you want to have a little look at anything on there. Essentially, the 4 steps, number 1, is what to do with your luggage, well, what you should do with your luggage the night before. Number 2 is settling your bill. Number 3 is your actual disembarkation. And number 4 is immigration and passport control. So mega quick, each of them. So luggage the night before, you need to put, can I show you that? Yes, I can. I just had to make sure that I didn't have any of my personal details on it. But you need to put your luggage tag onto your luggage. So they've given me quite a lot, but I think it's probably because this cabin sleeps 4 people, so they've probably just split it per cabin. So I've got 3 spare, and then I've got my suitcase, which unfortunately is still outside the door, but hey. Yeah, so you have to put your luggage tag onto your suitcase, which means that you can then go into the baggage hall to find your case. Now, what you then do is at one end of the luggage label, you'll see that you've got a number. Now, on the back of that number, you've got a little person, which I'm hoping that's picking that up. And all you do is peel the number off, like that. And literally, just as it is in the picture, there's a little person with the number there. So that base, well, let's not put it in the middle because I feel I feel like I'm on a school trip. If it's right in the middle of me, I might as well put it on my head. So yeah, while that doesn't tie in with my luggage for a reason we'll get to, that at least means that when I go to get off, they know what disembarkation group I could be in. Now, luggage, it has to be out before 1 o'clock in the morning. I thought it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and granted I was still an hour late. Let's not go into that. So yeah, my luggage was late out last night and hasn't been picked up through the night. Now, usually on a cruise, my luggage is late out and it usually will get picked up because they must do like a final sweep at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Unfortunately, my case hasn't left, which means that it's not a huge deal for me. It just means that I'm going to have to navigate the ship with my case, which, yeah, it's going to be fun trying to film certain parts at the same time. So yeah, I might not get too much footage when I'm getting off the ship. Now, that's number one. Number two is settling your bill. So basically, do you have a credit card connected? Have you checked your account? If so, great. If not, go to guest services and just check your account and check everything was okay. Number three, disembarkation. So that is basically get out your cabin by 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll get to your disembarkation time in a minute. You can deposit your luggage. You can deposit your luggage on deck 6 forward left side from 8 until 11. That's good news. So I am going to go and dump my suitcase there because that means that I can go and enjoy breakfast without looking like a baggage haul. So that's going to be good. And then finally, mandatory immigration and passport control. So basically, just a reminder that there's face-to-face passport control and that you need to keep your passport to hand rather than putting it in a suitcase that you might not have access to. Again, not an issue for me because I'll have access to everything. However, on the back of the document, you then have all of your departure times. So the way that that works is basically you're put into different numbers or different tag numbers. So my tag, as you know, is 58. This tag actually doesn't look obnoxious with this t-shirt. I'll need to remember to wear this for more disembarkations. But I'm tag 58, which puts me in the bracket of guests with non-European passports. Departure time 9:30 in the Panorama Lounge on deck 7. Now, I'm also a diamond guest on here, which means that I could go into tag 51, which was a disembarkation time of 8:15. However, what that would mean is that I would then get to Marseille an hour and a half earlier than the later disembarkation. Yeah, I thought I got my time wrong there. About an hour and a half. And it means my accommodation wouldn't be ready. I'll have ran out of here without breakfast. So I'm actually quite happy with 9:30. It just means that I can chill for a bit and have a pastry or two, or 2 or 5 for the final time. So yeah, you've then got, what do you then have at the bottom? Just some information on where you can go for breakfast, really. So you can go this morning to the buffet. You can go, well, 2 floors of the buffet actually. You can go to Bubbles, which is a restaurant down at the back of deck 6. You can also get a continental breakfast from Pizza and Burger, which is that new pizza included restaurant offering that they have on here. And then finally, you can go to the grab and go section, which is the mid-ship deck 18. So that's kind of by the pool. So there's plenty of options available for you. And it is nice that you can still continue to use the ship, providing I can get rid of this bag. But yeah, that's going to be the next, hopefully not drama. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it'll be really easy. But yeah, that is pretty much all of the documentation that I've been given for how to get off of the ship. So this video, I will show you anything that might be quite useful or might be quite interesting as we go down and navigate our way off of the ship. And yeah, other than that, I guess I'll catch up with you properly when we get into my apartment in Marseille. I'm hoping that it might be ready a little bit earlier because I don't know if I look it right now, but I'm tired and I know that, yeah, I'm not asking for sympathy because it's entirely self-inflicted. So, Cruise Boys and Cruising with the 4Bs, I think I've been kept up a little bit too late. So, yeah, I'm struggling a little bit this morning, but hopefully a coffee and some pastries will absolutely cure me. So yeah, let's get out the room because my housekeeper will be chapping on the door any minute to get me out. So let's head out hopefully dump the bag and then head up and get some breakfast at the buffet. Right, so thank goodness I've been able to get rid of the bags, so that's good. They're now down at the front of deck 6, which is brilliant because I can now just chill with my backpack. I would never leave this purely because it's got my laptop in it, but I could leave it if I wanted to. Now, thank goodness again that I checked guest services for my bill, because it actually works out that my credit card has bounced, which, yeah, that would have been annoying had I got my suitcases, went to the gangway, and then got told that I couldn't actually get off the ship. So, yeah, thank goodness that's done. Now, plan for me now is that I am going to head up to deck 18. I've actually decided that what's going to help this morning is just to have, like, one of those breakfasts where you just go big. I think that'll cure me. So, gone is the idea of a coffee and a couple of pastries. I think I'm just going to have to go full pelt and, yeah, just shamefully pig out for a few minutes. So, yeah, let's go up to deck 18 and hopefully just binge on some food to make this disembarkation day a little bit more bearable. So, yeah, let's head up now. Right, breakfast is done and I now feel, well, I was going to say I feel a million times better. I feel a good bit better, maybe not quite a million times. Now, it's now time to head down to the Panorama Lounge, which is the kind of show lounge at the back of deck 7, which is where I need to meet in order to then get off the ship. And I came up here for a coffee to sit out the back after breakfast, and I'm delighted. So my next ship is going to be a Costa ship, and in a couple of months from now I'll be getting on the brand new Costa ship, which is called Costa Toscana, and she actually is docked immediately behind, if I can continue to spin round, directly behind at the moment. So it's, yeah, that is going to be one of my next adventures. My next cruise, as I say, is going to be Costa. It'll be a slightly older ship than that though, but very, very excited to see how those guys differ to obviously the experience that I've had on here over the last, three full weeks actually. So yeah, look, let's get down into deck 7, get whatever we need to get done to disembark done, and then let's get off and head along into the city. So I am now through the terminal and waiting for a taxi. Now, disembarking from here was, actually getting off the ship was, I mean, it wasn't straightforward. It was one of them, if you watch my video from yesterday, it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to try and find the door. Everyone sending you in different directions. It didn't really work. And when you've got a hold bag and a hand luggage bag and a backpack and you haven't slept, you just end up in a really bad mood by the time you get off. So anyway, we're now off and you can see the next issue has presented itself, which is we are in port today with Grandiosa. We've also got, I think there's another 3 ships back there, one of them being Costa Toscana, which I showed you earlier. The problem with that is there's thousands of people here that are trying to get taxis, and yeah, the lines are long. So I'm trying a workaround, which is to book an Uber. Apparently they're only a 10-minute wait, so I'm trying it. They were coming in at 32 euros when I was on the ship, and I've just checked again there and it's now coming in at 22 euros. So remember, Uber will fluctuate in price depending on the demand. So if you do look at it and it looks particularly expensive, just close the app, give it half an hour and then try again, and usually it'll be down a little bit. So yeah, I am here right now with all of my bags, which are just really annoying. You definitely can't walk into the city. I remember this port. I wasn't sure if I would, but I docked here years ago on MSC Orchestra, and I remember it because there's a big Marseille sign that kind of looks like the Hollywood sign that I'll put a thing on now to show you, and I can see it just off shot of the camera right now. So yeah, let's try and get in this Uber, and I guess I'll next catch up with you down, hopefully on a sofa or a bed or whatever, down at the apartment. So yeah, see you shortly. Okay, so I am now in my little apartment in Marseille in the south of France, which that even just feels very strange to say. It's going to take a little bit of time for this year to actually sink in, because I feel as though everything I do, it definitely just, it feels, it feels just dead weird. Now, anyway, disembarkation today, how would I summarise that? I mean, probably a semi-organised chaos is probably the best way of putting it. There was people everywhere at that port. I don't think I've ever seen a port so busy. Everything was jammed. There was buses everywhere, taxis everywhere, people walking all over the road. It was mad. However, I'm now here. So I think it took me, this is about a 15-minute drive away from the port. So it's like in the city centre, looking out like over the old port, which is like the main central part of Marseille. So about a 15-minute drive, but it took me from getting off the ship to getting to here has taken, what, about 2 hours? So in fact, 2.5 hours. So it's taken a good amount of time. Now, basically the reason for that is that Uber kept failing on me. So the taxi queue was huge. It was in the shade, I'm wearing shorts, so I would have been so cold. So I kept trying Uber and I finally got it. So it only cost me, what, €20 or something to get here. It was just really annoying. So yeah, unfortunately that's proven my number one tip for getting off a ship true, and I should have done it with like booking a taxi in advance or getting off really early to beat the crowds, but I just didn't think we'd have so many other ships in today. But hey, look, plan for me now. So as you know, I'm spending the rest of this year ship hopping, with the exception of July, where I'll be back in Scotland for some family time. Now, plan for me is that I'm going to be here in Marseille for the next 4 nights, and then I'll be heading over to Barcelona to get on my next ship, which is Costa Diadema, which I am very, very excited about. Now, the reason why I'm staying on land in between is because to get on World Europa, I needed to get a COVID PCR. And I'm terrified that cruise lines might change the rules at any point in time. So I've just made sure to be on the safe side. In between most of my ships, I've got a minimum of 1 night on land. Now, some cases that's not the case, and I will literally pull my bags up a pier and get onto the next ship the same day that I get off one. So yeah, hold fire and let's see if that actually works. But yes, I'll usually have a day on land. The reason why this is a slightly longer break of not being on a ship is because I've never done, I think I said earlier, I've never done more than 7 nights on a cruise ship. And sometimes I can get off and I can feel a little, probably a little bit uneasy in terms of, I think they call it land legs. When you're fine when you're on the ship, but then you come off the ship and you're used to being in this world where everything's moving a little bit. And yeah, I can feel a little bit, not ill, but just a little bit off after a 7-nighter. So I booked this just to make sure I was fully grounded before going on my next 14-nighter. Turns out I'm absolutely fine. I probably could have got on another ship today. But yeah, I'm actually quite glad to just have a few days to just chill. So this apartment, I've got a little mini kitchen so I can make some food. I can just chill out in this living room, watch the TV, and power through some vlogs and stuff to get them up for you guys over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to run you through today. I can hardly speak. That shows that I definitely need to have a nap. But hopefully this video has been useful for showing you how to disembark from a cruise ship. The process that you've seen today is pretty similar to what you will see from any cruise ship. If you're doing a fly cruise, it's a little bit different where you book the flights through the cruise line. But if you're doing that, check out my P&O Azura vlog series, because I showed you in my final vlog there what it was like to disembark for a fly cruise, so head over and check that out. But that's it. That's the end of my MSC World Europa series, which feels mad that is ship 1 now finished. I actually can't believe it. So ship 2 coming up in 5 days time for me, which I cannot wait for. By now you'll have seen this entire vlog series, so I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, it would be amazing to have you along the journey as we continue through this year. You can do that by subscribing to the channel, which you can do just directly underneath the video. I always tend to point, but I don't know why I point. It's either over there or over there. And if you are signed into YouTube and if you've enjoyed it, give me a little thumbs up as well. That would be amazing because it really helps me and doesn't cost you anything at all. So yeah, I am going to go through into that next room, get my head down and nap for the next hour because I am tired after the chaos of this morning. But thank you so much for following along. Thank you for all of your support, keeping me company on World Europa these last 3 weeks. And I will catch up with all of you getting on ship number 2 in Barcelona in 5 days' time. Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Bye.